What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Sunday, November 5th, 2023, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 12:14 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and I wanted to give you an update on the situation in the Middle East and also in Eastern Europe. So, what you're looking at here is the test launch of a Russian Bulava submarine launched ballistic missile. Russia tested this missile from the White Sea at the Kura missile test range on the Kamchatka Peninsula, and it was launched from the Emperor Alexander III nuclear powered, nuclear armed submarine. This is one of their newer submarines, so they were testing it. And according to the Russian Ministry of Defense, the test was successful. And we do know that about 2 weeks ago, Russia tested their entire nuclear triad, and the United States recently tested a Minuteman III ICBM just this past week, and apparently it failed. So both Russia and the US are testing their nuclear arsenals like crazy the last couple of weeks. But what's more concerning than this is we have an unusual number of Russian military cargo planes going into Kaliningrad the past 2 to 3 days. And actually, yesterday we had 5 Russian military cargo planes go into Kaliningrad from mainland Russia. Now, if you don't know what Kaliningrad is, it's a small piece of Russia that's stuck between Lithuania and Poland. It's not connected to the Russian mainland. It's surrounded by NATO countries. So this is very concerning because why would you need to move 5 military cargo planes somewhere for no reason? Obviously, there's stuff inside of those cargo planes, weapons, ammunition, potentially troops, potentially combat vehicles. Okay, 5 of these Russian military cargo planes yesterday. And this past week, we've been seeing these cargo planes going into Kaliningrad almost every single day. So I don't know if Russia's preparing for some type of attack on the Baltics or attack on Poland. It's very possible that they may try to take advantage of the situation in the Middle East and wait for the United States to get bogged down and preoccupied with Israel, and then they're going to make their move on Poland and the Baltic countries. So this is very, very concerning. So here we have 2 of the Russian military cargo planes. This was very early this morning and late last night. And here we have one Ilyushin 76 MD and an Antonov 124. This Antonov 124 is specifically made for heavy lift, so it can carry heavy cargo, things like missile defense systems, missile launchers, tanks, combat vehicles, things like that. Russia used these in the early 2000s to help the U.S. during our war on terror. They were helping us out, and they were moving some of our equipment over there and some of their equipment over there. So for them to be sending these Antonov 124s to Kaliningrad is extremely concerning. And this is probably the second one in the last 24 hours. And then this was earlier yesterday morning, 3 of them came in. 2 Ilyushin 76 MD 90As and another Antonov 124. Okay. And then just 3 days ago, on the 1st of November, we had more come in, and you can see a bunch of NATO surveillance at the same time monitoring Kaliningrad while these cargo planes are coming in. And then on Halloween night, we had more coming in, and for the first time ever, Forte 11, the U.S. RQ-4 Global Hawk surveillance drone that has been deployed to the Black Sea for the last 2 years. For the first time, it went to Poland and it was monitoring Kaliningrad and Belarus. Now, Russia has at least 50,000 troops in Western Belarus. They also have at least 300,000 troops in Kaliningrad. They also have tactical nukes in Kaliningrad. They also have Iskander missiles in both Kaliningrad and Belarus. And they have air launched nuclear weapons in Belarus and Kaliningrad as well. Okay. So this is very, very concerning. They could try to attack Poland. They could try to attack the Baltic countries. This is very, very serious. And I wanted to bring your attention to this before I got into the latest on Israel, because I felt like if I talked about Israel first and I did this at the end of the video, people would miss this very important information here. Here's another Russian military transport plane on the 29th of October. So they're going in basically every single day now. All right. Very, very concerning. Here we have the location of the Dwight Eisenhower U.S. aircraft carrier, and it's in the northern Red Sea. Here we have a C-2 Greyhound and a KC-130 going to this aircraft carrier to drop off supplies. And you can see that these planes took off from Crete and they landed on the aircraft carrier flight deck in northern Red Sea area. Here's a closer look. All right. So this is where the Dwight Eisenhower is operating as of 1600 UTC time on November the 5th. Okay. The northern Red Sea looks like it's getting some more supplies before it makes its long journey through the rest of the Red Sea and then finally to the Iranian coastline. And that's where it's going to be positioned. And I think once it gets in position near Iran is when we're going to see things escalate in the Middle East. And here we have the location of the Gerald Ford carrier, okay, just southwest of Cyprus. Here we have two C-2 Greyhounds dropping off supplies to the aircraft carrier, all right. And then we had more Russian Ministry of Emergency Situations planes going to Egypt. That's a total of 5 of these planes in the last 2 days or so. So something's going on here in Egypt with Russia. I don't know if they're bringing in equipment like military hardware, or are they bringing in humanitarian supplies for the refugees from Gaza? I have no idea. So I want to just update you on the situation in the Middle East with Israel and Hamas. Palestinian sources are reporting that the ground is shaking across the entire Gaza Strip in the past few hours after the Israeli Air Force carried out more than 100 airstrikes. So Israel is pounding Gaza right now. And pro-Palestinian protesters were outside the White House late last night, and they were actually throwing items onto the White House lawn and at Secret Service. So it got pretty rowdy. And at this hour in Turkey, there's a violent protest going on outside of the Incirlik Air Base, which is home of U.S. Air Force 39th Air Base Wing, and it houses 1,800 U.S. troops. Turkish police officers are trying to disperse the crowd, and I have videos of it, but unfortunately, I cannot share the videos here, but it's very intense, guys. They broke down some fences at the base, and this is where we moved 2 B-1 bombers this past week, okay? B-1 nuclear bombers. We moved them to this base just a few days ago. And this is also where Turkey keeps their nuclear weapons as part of the NATO nuclear sharing program. So we have our B-61 nuclear gravity bombs in this base, okay? So this is very concerning. The president of Turkey, Erdogan, said that post-war Gaza must become part of a sovereign Palestinian state. And Blinken met with the foreign ministers of Arab countries yesterday in Amman, Jordan, and they were all demanding an immediate ceasefire, which he rejected. And the meeting included the foreign ministers of Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and also a senior Palestinian official. The Egyptian Foreign Minister Shukri released the following statement after the meeting condemning Israel's operation in Gaza. He said, "During the meeting, I was keen to clarify Egypt's vision, and the killing events in Gaza cannot be justified." So even Jordan and Egypt are turning on Israel now, guys. Israel literally has no allies in the Middle East at all. Okay. The Saudis are turning on Israel, the Egyptians, the Jordanians. These are countries that have normally sided with Israel. They're now turning against Israel to a certain extent. I mean, they're not joining in on any military operations, but they're not siding with Israel as a friend. They're kind of staying in a neutral position militarily, but diplomatically, they're supporting Hamas. Okay, this is concerning and this is biblical, guys. The Bible says in the end times, all these countries are going to turn on Israel. Okay, all the Arab countries, the North African countries, the some of the Asian countries, Russia, Turkey. Okay, basically the whole world is going to turn on Israel. Everyone. Okay, and this is happening right now. I'm not saying that the end is tomorrow or next week, but this is definitely in line with Bible prophecy. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken met today with the Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas in Ramallah in the West Bank, and Iran's Minister of Defense Ashtiani released a warning to the United States. He said, "Our advice to the Americans is to stop the war immediately and implement a ceasefire. Otherwise, you will be hit hard." Wow. Strong words there from the Iranian Minister of Defense. And Senator Tom Cotton, a Republican from Arkansas, said they are laughing at us in Tehran, and Iran will continue targeting U.S. forces until President Biden gets serious about imposing severe costs on Iran. And the hostage situation at the Hamburg airport in Germany has ended. And officially, the German government is saying that this guy basically kidnapped his own child, okay, a 4-year-old child, and drove onto the airport tarmac. So they're not saying this is terrorism. They're saying that this is some kind of a domestic situation, but the guy was Turkish, okay? So I'm not sure I believe that story. And why would they clear out the whole airport and dispatched Germany's top anti-terror units and special ops to clear out the airport and then clear out each plane? Okay, you don't do that for a domestic situation. Okay, and the guy was Turkish, so who knows if they're just trying to cover up the truth, which is that this was a jihadist attack inspired by the events in the Middle East. And the U.S. State Department said that during Blinken's meeting with Lebanese Prime Minister Mikati, Blinken expressed his concern about the exchange of fire along Lebanon's border with Israel. FBI Director Christopher Wray said terrorist attacks inspired by the Israel Hamas conflict are likely to increase during a testimony at the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee hearing on threats to the homeland. He said that the FBI cannot discount the possibility that Hamas or other terrorist organizations could conduct attacks on U.S. soil, and that there are specific threats of Iran linked cyber attacks on critical infrastructure. Okay, so this is very, very concerning, guys. We need to be on high alert. We could get hit with some cyber attacks. They could try to, mess with our dams. They could try to mess with our power grid. I mean, there's a lot of things they can do. And then, of course, we have probably millions of sleeper cells in the country right now. Iranian, uh, Russian, Chinese, North Korean, all the different jihadist groups probably have sleeper cells here. And it doesn't help that our border with Mexico is so porous. They're definitely taking advantage of that and funneling them through Mexico. So make sure you're aware of your surroundings at all times, guys. Okay. Make sure you're carrying your self defense tools 24/7, because you never know when something crazy could happen. All right. Know where the exits are wherever you go. Know where cover and concealment is wherever you go. Anytime you're out in public, you should always kind of be looking for cover and concealment. Okay. And think in your mind, if somebody ran into this area where I'm at right now with a firearm and started, shooting, where is the nearest cover? Where's the nearest concealment? Okay, the difference between cover and concealment is that cover can stop bullets and concealment can't, but concealment can hide you. So sometimes just being hidden can save your life, but you should always think about those things. It sounds crazy, it sounds paranoid, but this is the world we live in. Okay, and if you want to survive, that's what you have to do, unfortunately. All right, that's what I do. I've been doing that for years. Okay. Once you get used to it, it becomes second nature. You don't even think about it. It just becomes a part of, your normal life, like doing your laundry or, changing your oil. It's just part of life. Okay. And obviously have your bug out bags packed and ready to go. The seasons are changing now. So make sure that you're putting in all your winter prep items into your bug out bag. Okay, I always change out items from summer to winter. Okay, one thing that I always make sure to do is to take out my Sawyer mini water filter out of my bug out bag once fall time hits, because those Sawyer water filters or any of those types of water filters with the membranes in them will freeze and crack and get ruined. If, let's say, you leave your bug out bag overnight in your vehicle and the temperature drops, you could damage, your water filter. So think about any temperature sensitive items. Remove them from your bug out bag. Try not to leave your bug out bag overnight in your vehicle if it's below freezing, especially if you have like a canteen full of water. Your canteen could break, when the canteen freezes. Okay. So, you know, get prepared, guys. Also, think about a nuclear war survival plan. Check out my How to Survive Nuclear War series. I've done 11 videos in that series. Each video is an hour to an hour and a half long with detailed information on nuclear war and how to survive it and nuclear war targets. And I have a list of nuclear war targets in the US, Canada, and Europe on my website, NYPrepper.com. It's free. You don't have to pay anything to access that information. And I have a bunch of other nuclear war survival information on my website. So check it out and make sure you have a fallout shelter. And in my nuclear war videos, I talk about how to find a fallout shelter or how to build one. So I'll leave links to those nuclear war videos in the top right corner. And in Syria, there's reports coming out that Iranian militias attacked another U.S. military base overnight in Tel Beidar, north of Hasaka. So I don't know. This is probably like the 50th or 60th attack on U.S. bases in the last month. Okay. When is it going to stop? When are we going to do something about it? All right. We're showing weakness right now. Hezbollah is claiming that they attacked one of Israel's military bases in Bayada and al Dahira with guided missiles and other types of weapons. And the Israeli Air Force carried out several airstrikes on the positions of Hezbollah in southern Lebanon in the areas around Ramesh and Rashaya al Fukhar. So the situation between Hezbollah and Israel is just continuing to escalate. They continue to trade fire over the border. They continue to hit each other's bases. And so this is very concerning. And we do know that the Iranian militias are now piling up in southern Syria near Damascus. And there's rumors that they may try to enter northern Israel near the Golan Heights simultaneously as Hezbollah does the same thing. And the Israeli Broadcasting Authority, citing a government security source, is reporting that the Israeli government has thwarted attempts to attack Israelis in several countries since the start of the war on Gaza. And U.S. reconnaissance aircraft has been spotted in the sky over Baghdad, Iraq this morning. So that's the latest information that I have, guys. I will be back later on this afternoon or this evening with another update. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the bell icon below this video so you get notified when I post these emergency alerts. And when things kick off in the Middle East, I will go live 24/7. Okay. And I do expect the situation in the Middle East to continue to escalate. That's basically the only thing that could happen from here on out is escalation, unless Hezbollah and Iran suddenly give up. But I don't see that happening, and Israel's not going to give up either. Okay, because they had 1,300 of their people brutally killed. So it seems like both sides don't want to give up. So escalation is the only thing that could happen from here on out. And then we have Russia moving equipment and troops into Kaliningrad. We have North Korea threatening South Korea all the time. China's doing stuff near Taiwan. So we could have a multi-front world war begin very soon. So I'll keep you guys updated though. Take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 P's: prepare, practice, and persevere.